Good morning. Happy Friday. Playing fetch again. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Pretty cool, huh? We can totally talk for more than 2 minutes. I'll try not to, but... So, why am I starting a YouTube channel? It is because I am 15 years into a ton of information that I don't know what to do with. I don't know, I want to write a book. I don't know where to begin even with that. I've been volunteering with people with disabilities for 30 years. 15 years ago, I became a person with a disability. I conked on the head, got a brain injury. Neuroplasticity made it so 15 years more of reading and learning, and I'm a fountain. So why I think I have so much information, I'll give you just a quick run through. So I joined the brain injury board. I was on that for a good 7 years. It was split time for 2 or 3 years, and then another 5 years, just lately. And then I also started, because I was told I should volunteer before I go back into the workforce. Even though I was told I was probably never gonna work again, I didn't really realize what that meant. It's because of my injuries and my pain. And anyways, so then I wanted to understand what was wrong with me, because I was a very athletic, healthy person in my mind before I had my accident. So in order to understand it, I started researching my problems, and so I went into medical research as my volunteer stuff, a patient researcher. And so I joined all these. So first I learned how to be a patient researcher, so I learned how to do medical research, and I went to these conferences in all over the Maritimes, and then I did, as a patient researcher, I wore the t-shirt. I learned how to be a patient peer supporter. I learned how to be I learned how to help run a peer support group. I learned how to be a patient researcher. I went to all these conferences: anesthesiology, gastrointestinal, pain support, pain research, or pain conferences, brain injury conferences, like 2 or 3 a year for the last 15 years. And if you're a medical student, they're all worth like 5 credits in med school or something, I don't know. Anyways, so I just keep going and keep going and keep going, and I'm learning and I'm reading, and I'm also doing all these projects as a patient researcher. So I'm on all these projects as a medical researcher at the same time, and for years. And I got up to the point where I was almost doing full-time work as a medical researcher / conference goer, and then I started to get sick, and so all of a sudden, I didn't know why, and what it was is I have this genetic condition called Ehlers-Danlos, and it was discovered because my son has something called Perthes, and anyways, and it involves his hip, and it's a rare disease. And guess what? I figured it out because I was doing medical research, and I did. I totally figured it out before the doctors did, but only because I was like knee deep into it. Sorry, I live close to a rotary. So anyways, so I learned about chronic pain, I learned about rare diseases, I learned about brain injury, I learned about that, and way beyond anything that I have. I learned and learned and learned and learned, and I've been like that my whole, oh yeah, sorry. Here, come get it, Jeremy. And so anyways, I have 15 years of hardcore research under my belt about post-traumatic stress disorder as well, and the whole all about all of it. And I have and so the longer I get from my own brain injury, the more neuroplasticity I had from learning all these new skills. Hang on. So now, at this point, I'm able to verbalize it so much better. So I can pass along this knowledge, and I don't really know how to bridge my knowledge from what I used to do to what I know now. But I think I know more about this stuff than I ever knew about the first 2 degrees that I got, right? So I don't know how to do that, put that into a resume. I don't know how to, so I thought, let's start with the YouTube page and get started. So that's where I'm at. And so welcome to my YouTube page. My daughter calls it my rants, so maybe I'll call it Heidi's Rants. I don't know. I did one the other day, and I might put this up as my first one. I was on the way to the doctor's office and I get anxiety. A lot of people with chronic illnesses that are undiagnosed have anxiety going to the doctor's office. It's because they call it medical gaslighting. And so when you have an undiagnosed something for years and years and years and years, you don't know what's going on. And so maybe I'll post that as my first one. But yeah, there's lots of stuff to learn. So cheers. Happy Friday.